Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 27 of Thessia. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Big shout out to you all pretty much last episode for giving me the idea of drawing out a dirt road in order to get rid of these little wooden fences we had on our train bridge from last episode. Immediately fixed the problem we were having, so big shout out to everyone that left that comment. The train bridge looks a lot better now, doesn't it, with that train going through it, so really appreciate all the support. And oh, the love for Samara as well. This town turned out really nicely, didn't it? And there's certainly a lot more to do over this side of the map. But today we're actually heading back to the downtown, into the CBD, because the city needs university education. Of course, I always find an excuse to do another campus build. Absolutely love campus, so we're going to be throwing this on the Golden Egg Coast. Actually, not particularly taking Australian inspiration, but we've just got a nice space that I've eyed up to use as a campus space. And it's got this nice tram line flowing through it. It's also waterfront and beachside as well, which is a really interesting setting for a campus we haven't ever done before. And just a quick shout out to you all. Only 50% of you are actually subscribed to my videos, and if you are watching them and enjoying them, do hit the subscribe button, because YouTube are actually holding me hostage until I can get this to at least a 70-30% ratio subscribed. So please subscribe. I would like to go home and return to my family. Otherwise, enjoy the time lapse, and I'll catch you in the live play. So we're going to name today's university build after our wonderful Patreon subscriber, Jesse Russell. So thank you for all your support, Jesse. Really appreciate it, mate. So we've got all our university assets lined up here. Okay, we got dorms, laboratories, etc., cafeterias and whatnot, all out here. And we're going to use the School of Medicine today as a bit of a song and dance over this space. So let's start with some dorms. Let's go to our pathways and we'll start creating some path networks. Let's just come straight out the main building here, which does need to be bobbed. Want to get rid of these crap vanilla trees. We'll do our own thing with those. So let's go ahead and grab our dormitories, which I believe are these ones. So they look like they kind of want to be put back to back together, these dorms, don't they? Like the front of them's really nice, but if you look at the back of them, it's almost like there's a little entrance way into them, isn't there? So let's see how viable this is. If we're gonna, now this is all quite a different height, isn't it, compared to what we're playing with down here, which is okay. We'll be able to make do with that. But if we were to explore possible fusing, I think we'll come over this way. Let's set them to the same height as the pathway. So we'll have this here, and pretend the parking on the front is for perhaps a scooter or something, or a little local university Segway, whatever justification we need for it. And then line those up. I'd then like to run just a regular path without decorations through the middle. Or just this one. Snap into the grid. And also road length as well, and angle. And if we just push them up, does this kind of make the back end of the dormitory there a little more, I guess, purposeful, is the word I'm looking for. It was a nice kind of framed walkthrough, doesn't it, when you see these archways that are almost like back entrances into the dorms. I think we can definitely get on board with that. I don't want this to be a massive campus either. Pretty much just going to fill this space with it. And I think the beachfront location is going to make this a really special campus, isn't it, I think it is. I'm quite looking forward to this one. So in between those spaces, we'll do a little bit of surface painter, just so we have that concrete flushness between. That should tidy things up quite nicely. And maybe we go for 2 blocks of those. Don't want it to look kind of too dominant either, you know. Maybe just 2 is okay. Or we could possibly go for a 3rd. Maybe snapped on another angle. Just duplicate this one here. Then again, the repeated design of the back-to-back is really talking to me. So maybe we'll go with that one. I think what I will do here, just to get them perfectly symmetrical, is we'll grab one and then actually use move its mirror function to say mirror it opposite this. Then we know it's perfectly equidistant from the path in the middle. I think that's the better option, isn't it? So we'll go with that. And then let's do the same thing here. We'll grab both of these and then we'll ask it to mirror it opposite this segment. So now we know everyone's definitely level. And we can bring those pathways back up and we'll have that as a mirrored design within the campus, and we won't have any more dormitories than that. I don't think there's any need. It'd be pretty overkill, I think. Might even bring in a little bit of residential tower in here today as some maybe cheaper student accommodation that isn't on campus. Maybe something out towards the coast here. Or maybe a little more toward this space. Maybe we'd work some of this housing here into some student accommodation. Something along the beach, maybe. We'll wait and see. Otherwise, I like respecting the back of the dormitories there. That gives us a really cool aesthetic already, doesn't it? That'll give us our dorms. Whilst we're on the subject of sort of bringing in cool designs, let's also go ahead and factor in the School of Medicine as well, because I want this to be a real key point in the skyline. So it's got these little doorways out the front, isn't it? Which is quite nice. Let's see exactly how we want this orientated. Get a little sort of sample of this from the downtown, if we like. How is this going to fit within our skyline? Because this essentially becomes part of the skyline of the School of Medicine. It's a big building. We're going to have it there. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with it in this general location. It's really cool as well to see the elevation behind it with the trains, isn't it? So let's line it up to about here. Now, with the tearing we're getting against that wall there, we're definitely going to have to do a retaining wall here. I think we'll probably use a key for that. So let's use some of these small 2-lane roads here. But then again, maybe we want to use something a little fancier for the School of Medicine. How about if we did a 2-lane road with grass? We'll draw up the road directly out front of the building so it connects and also set the building to the height of that road as well. There we go. Come back down to earth about there. I'm happy with the broken angle here as well. It's going to bring a bit more interest into this couplet system, isn't it? So it'd be good if we could get that on a straight connection down into here. It's going to need a little bit of move it finagling to get that to fit in how we want it. Let's connect into the road there. We will need to just arrange some segments so it's not horrendously warped. There we go, let's do that. We probably want to remove a node or two from here as well. Now we'll resquare, we'll also bring our blue friend down too. There we go, something like that is more what I'm after. Give a little square as well and just close that offset so it's not quite as insane. And we'll hide the crossings and do some IMT around here during our detailing. And I guess we probably want this segment at least to be one way to match with the curve. And then as we leave the campus again, we'll use a little one-way alleyway. Or I guess we should stick with the grass-lined roads really, shouldn't we? And then from here, we'll just do a no-snap freeform back into the couplet system and then do a little bit of a design with this. So what I am thinking is that we will actually narrow these roads down to probably about 60%, I think, is more what I'm after here. I think I'm just preferring that thinner road aesthetic for coming into the campus. Yeah, I think we'll do that then. Let's go with that general design. And then we'll also allow this one-way road, we'll do all the stretching again in a second, to wrap around the back of the School of Medicine so these car parks make sense around the back. And then also the ones on the side as well. Let's hit that road guideline, bring that back in. And I guess these roads here, they don't need to be one way around the back, only really in the entrance on that couplet road needs to be serviced with a one-way road. Cool, so I'll use Node Controller to thin out all these roads and then we can get an impression of what that's actually going to look like. Yep, definitely a fan of having those thinner roads wrap around that more important asset. And I think we'll surface paint up the whole space on the interior. And again, just like the main building, this wants to be bobbed. So we can get rid of those crap vanilla trees around the edge of it. We'll replace them with some of our favourite workshop ones, of course. And then we can just fill in all these corners here with a bit of concrete. Perhaps some bench and mini plaza detailing will be welcome out the front here too. But as a general positioning for the School of Medicine, it's going to sit really nicely against our big roundabout here, isn't it? Hopefully start seeing some people on these trams too as well shortly. It should hopefully be, again, there's not much down there, is there, for... Yeah, there's no one even coming down on these trams from where they're coming from yet. Maybe one day they will. Although I've just noticed that this one isn't actually stopping on its way back, is it? Let's correct that one. There we go. Cool, should stop there now. But for directions, I I really like how that skilled medicine's sitting there. That's addition to the skyline, I think, isn't it? Wonderful. So let's return to our campus space now. I want to focus on the cafeteria next, so let's go ahead and grab this one. Let's bring the cafeteria over toward the beachfront. So I'd love to have the cafeteria almost kind of have like a little plaza out front of it, where we can have some tables, of course. We'll use those same table props that are on the asset itself. Push that as far back as away from the road as it'll go. What looks to be about there is its threshold, doesn't it? We'll paint at that threshold, which might be on the surface paint at angle. Doesn't look like it is, but we've got the but that's okay because we have the concrete brush, so we'll fill that in down this way, and we can use this as a bit of a eatery area. We'll also wrap our pathways up where they would make sense going back there too, and we'll also have a touch of node control there, so we can rotate that pathway and then bring it down toward the road. Something like that, hopefully. Do touch more rotation on it. There we go. Something like that should be okay. Let's also get a pedestrian crossing on the node here as well, on the road. People can cross onto the university campus if they want to from here. I think I'd love a bit of a kind of parking and key design here actually, as we kind of come onto the beach so people have a place to park. Because obviously people are going to visit the university, but this is a pretty nice beach as well, so close to the city, so I imagine people will want to come and park here as well. And we do have this parking road that already comes out of this junction down here, don't we? So this is definitely going to make the most sense, I think, to expand out. Let's run it parallel with this cycling road. We'll hit the guidelines where we can. So let's actually grab the maintained ones for this. We'll go for a nicer car park design rather than the rundown ones all the time. So let's align the height of our parking design. We'll have this to the same height as the road. Rotate it slightly. Yeah, so I want it to be kind of roadside parking there, I guess, is what I'm really after. And then we'll bring this with no snapping on as we come around the nodes. And then really want to mimic this as it comes parallel with the road. And I think we'll upgrade a few more sections into actual parking as well. There you go, let's get that set up there. Cool, I'll say we might be pretty close here for this to work, but a connection like that would look pretty nice, although those nodes are going to be extremely tight. Yeah, pretty much no room to finagle it, but I do like that aesthetic, and it's not going to have a vast amount of traffic, so it should be okay. Definitely don't do this on a major road network. The traffic would not like that, but I guess we could give the node a little more breathing room. Would probably help the situation. Yeah, there we go. We can just about make it green with that offset, can't we? So let's go with that. I think that should be okay. Let's grab this road. We'll turn this section here into parking as well before we go back to service road. And then we'll come back to service road as it comes along the waterfront here. And let's turn off that node snapping just while we're so close to networks. Road guidelines going to hurt us here actually. Let's turn that off. Let's go for another stretch of parking. Have that run to about there. And then we'll grab a little more service road, and then this is where we can end the design. And let's go for probably just a simple little hook in there with some node finagling required. I think that should be a bit more helpful. Let's bring that red a little bit closer as well. I don't want that junction to be that wide. And out some IMT to continue those bike lanes, of course, would be welcome as well. And let's also just set our nodes to the same height. Cool, so that's all I'm after in terms of the parking. Again, bits of surface paint in between will go well. But I think then I want to complement that with some key work. So everywhere where we have a car park, I'd like to use some of the content creator keys with steps, which is going to be probably this one, I think. And a road guideline snap will probably help here too. We want to snap to each of those segments. That gives us the stairs down to the beach. And then when it's not a car park, we're just going to do a little segment of regular key. And it should just be a case of matching it with guidelines to make it all pretty easy to bring in. Go back to that key wall there again as well. That's my general premise. I think a little bit of terraforming might be helpful here, just because I want to have a few more of those stairs exposed. Something like that maybe. I don't know, do I prefer the short stairs? The short stairs are quite nice, aren't they? Yeah, I think that's all it needs to be, isn't it? It's a very subtle design, but we'll have that match each of our car parks, and that way it serves as a beach. Oh, a way up and down the beach anyway. Now, what we will do is we can just grab some dirt pathway. And of course, because these are walkable content creator keys, people are going to come up the stairs. But we'll make sure they can. We'll have the dirt pathway run along the beach, and we'll probably get some umbrellas and whatnot down here. And we'll make it a pathway that the AI would want to take. By connecting to pedestrian crossings and such, and maybe even a park area down here as well, like we did with Pickle Bay over here, you know, to get people walking down on the beach. I think maybe a couple of park assets just to attract people to walk on it might be good. Maybe we can do that. We've got a lot of death over in the Golden Egg Coast, haven't we? Probably because of this. You boys alright? Are you okay? You're not going, are you? Do we have a node issue here? Yes, we do. Looks like that node was just too tight and all the traffic was stopping. Yeah, there's the hearses coming to collect the dead. Good job we noticed that, wasn't it? Otherwise that entire suburb would have just died. There we go. Yeah, there we go. It's flowing again now. But yes, a similar process to that, right? So the way we did that was we just laid down the pathways, and then if you use the clip function on Surface Painter, you can just remove the texture of said pathway. But of course, the functionality of the path does remain. There's also assets on the workshop that achieve this called invisible pathways. But you know, if you don't want to download the extra mod, then you can do it with vanilla pathways and Surface Painter as well. So I think that's what we'll have with the beachfront parking there. That's going to be quite a nice design for me, I think. So we'll run with that. We'll get our car parking spaces in toward our detailing time maps as well, of course. But now let's return to some of our large assets. The commencement office is something I really want to pay attention to as well. Of course, I think it'd be a really nice view to graduate looking out over the water, wouldn't it? To some of the more rural Thessia mountains over there. So let's go with that. Again, I think snapping it to a pathway that comes off of the main building is going to be most appropriate. So we'll grab another university path. Let's go with decorations here, because we will have some trees that knock around here to decorate the campus itself. Have that on there. We'll have this one. Again, something that needs to be bobbed, but we'll do that in a second. In terms of the trees we're going to line the paths with, I'm in the mood for a bit of pine, I think. How about we go for... that tree's in front of a Coles department store. Go for one of those. Oh, the columnars are very nice though, aren't they? I think the columnar is quite a university appropriate tree, isn't it? Why don't we go for that one? Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then we will grab that university pathway again without decorations. I do want to line up that node. We'll do it in a second once it's snapped anyway. There you go. So let's line up these two nodes here. So they're level with the path that comes out of the commencement office. And then we'll allow this to join back on the road there as well. So we get that nice centralization there, and there's already a graduation as well. Wonderful. People throwing their mortarboards up in unison. Very nice. We very rarely use this asset actually, the commencement office, so it's nice to see people immediately graduating from Russell University. That's a really nice sight line there, isn't it? Running down to the ocean, all the mountains. What a great place to graduate, right? Really nice. Don't know what this guy's doing over here. He's more interested in, I'm sure, watching overcharged egg videos on his phone rather than graduating. Wonderful. Great. Cool. So this has turned out nice now. Let's go ahead and grab some more campus buildings. Again, paying attention to the larger ones, and then we'll squeeze stuff in like the chess club in between. So a bookstore I think is going to partner quite nicely with the dorms. Also be nice to have it near the dorms as well, wouldn't it? And for ease of access for the university folks. So we'll have that there. And a bit of service painting needed, but we'll do that toward our detailing time lapse. But really enjoy the campus bookstores. Super nice assets. Bring the gymnasium in as well. This actually looks like it might fit in quite sensibly behind the bookstore. But we'll line that up. And it definitely looks like there's some nice opportunities here for some cohesive concrete space, which I think we'll use the brush tool to achieve that. If I could stop typing and find it, that would be tremendously helpful. So we'll line that up. Again, there's a fair bit of bobbing to do actually with all these campus assets, isn't there? Let's just get rid of these bushes while we're doing this particular section. And then we'll grab a regular vanilla pathway through here. Just line it up about there, should be okay. Lock that in there. Don't really like the way that that connects, but it's okay. I guess really it should probably go into the path connection, shouldn't it? That would probably make my life a lot easier. So we'll have it go from here, then cut across into that section. Hopefully a little bit of squaring off with node control will help here, and surface painter and brushes and whatnot, but I think just to have people walking between these campus buildings would definitely make sense, wouldn't it? And then where I do want to save some green space here. And we can perhaps grab some things like the cypress trees, which I think are very university-esque, aren't they, if you like. Let's bang some of these on a prop line tool. Over 12 meters. Sort of bang these around the edge of the buildings, right? Get something a little bit larger as well, something a bit more Australian. Where's one of my gum trees? Maybe have some of these over here like that. A couple of benches and bushes around, I think always goes a long way, doesn't it? When we're doing little things like this. Love detailing campus green space. Easily one of the more satisfying things to do in the game, I think. Cool. I think we get much more purpose to all these props and stuff when we've got this walkable concrete space in front of it, you know? And these stairs now make much more sense as well, don't they? So, really happy with that, and we can get a sense of this, how this campus is developing now, can't we, if we take that as a bit of a spice sample. Absolutely love doing campuses. I know I say this every time we do them, but goodness gracious, everyone. Easily one of the better DLCs. I'm really going to miss playing with campuses once we've moved to CS2. So when there's no more CS1 once both of these cities are done. But that's a long way away, so we don't need to worry about that just yet. So let's start bringing some of our larger assets into play now. We'll also grab ourselves this one over here, which I think is the library, isn't it? Here it is. So we'll have this sat with our School of Medicine, I think. Again, with little embellishments of surface paints needed out front, which will be fine. I think we've also got this one. Here's this one, the labs. I think it is, isn't it? Yes, this is the labs. So we'll grab this one, and it looks like it's going to fit in here, does it? Are we happy with this orientation? I think we are. Let's line it up with this space here against the pathways so that sort of staircase makes sense. And then that's going to fit pretty nicely against that road, isn't it? We're happy with that. It's going to make this road a really important drive-by going through these old university buildings, which will be on the approach to Camp Begra as well, which is going to be where a lot of our more kind of government-focused buildings are around. So this will be a very much kind of appropriate thematic approach into the area, won't it? Don't know what's going on there though. That is not supposed to be like that. So let's now just go ahead and at the same height as the node next to it. There we go. We should. Oh yeah, there we go. Is that because these assets are over here though? Just gonna say we should start to see some road traffic start to move through the Camp Begra rings now. Of course, this final configuration isn't totally ready yet. It's just a frame for when we get over here, but it will be satisfying to see some people start driving around these roads soon. Slowly, maybe the odd car every now and again, but nothing serious, is it? Anyway, let's return here. So I think we're going to do what we did in Ilos with the auditorium here. And actually fuse it into the back of the main building. Almost as like it is a sort of secondary entrance, if you like. So let's set this to the same height as the road segment. The fusing into the back of the building is the most important here. So let's go for that back bit is flush with the main building. And we do get an elevation change there, which I'm not averse to actually. Although I think it definitely just needs to be accentuated a little bit so it's not as obvious. Push it out a little, and then we can soften it and bring green belt and pathways up here so it's not as noticeable. But almost as like a secondary entrance into that main building, you know. Having that auditorium there. By the way, if you haven't seen the governor's office build in Ilos, definitely one of my most creative uses of the campus DLC. Really enjoyed that build for those that have seen it. I'll leave it linked down below, and maybe a little cinematic as well up on the screen. If you haven't seen that campus build, definitely go check it out. But I'm happy with that university building there, right? Start to line this building a little bit more importantly too. I'd love to bring in some more of those fancier tree linings as well. We're using these with little cypress trees. If we were to have them here perhaps, something like that. Also bringing these pathways up to the main road as well, so people continue to get in and out of the campus pretty easily. Once you're kind of from the ground level, you can't really tell that elevation changes there, can you? Really enjoying that now, right? Lots of tree lining and open space here. I think what I do want to do is, because we're again playing with those resources, for whichever one that this is, have a little look. It's oil, so yeah, let's definitely remove the oil from here. So I would like this campus to be green. There we go, probably all through this space as well. We'll remove it, leave that train line looking a little bit drier. But otherwise we will have the sort of more kept grass around here, if you like. Have it green rather than brown. And we'll let it fade back into some of that brown up this way. Don't want it all to be super green. We are in a very hot, dry country here, I guess. But happy with those orientations now. Some really nice sight lines we're going to develop around this campus now, isn't there? Delicious scenes. And then in terms of our larger assets, there's not that much more to place now, is there? And we've got our study hall and then the media lab. And I think we got some larger spaces knocking about over here, haven't we? So let's get one of the more interesting shaped buildings at like the media lab. And then we'll see if we can place this sort of with its orientation factored into the roundabout. So let's go for there. We'll keep that tree line pathway coming down toward the road junction. And then we'll come off of tree lining through this way. Wrap it around the back of the building here, so again these staircases and stuff make sense like we did with these spaces over here. We hook the back in around, and then we can also have a walkway that comes back up to this level. And then we'll feed it around the back of that commencement hall as well. And then I'd like to mimic that if we could, so what's that, 6 units? Can we repeat that this side? That's 6 units there. We'll have that one come down, and then we can bring all this together, tie it up, and then people can get in and out of the campus from various directions. And again, another asset that wants to be bobbed. Maybe another retaining wall here as well. Or maybe some rocks might be nice here actually. Well, I guess we'll wait and see. So again, I'm very much appreciating the drop in height from the campus area as you come up this way, right? There we go, do have people waiting on the trams now, first person to get on. You know what, it'd be good to have actually here, wouldn't it, a way onto the tram network from here. Is that something we want to explore? I think it is. Let's have a little test of this before I detail in time-lapse. What would we be deleting if we removed a couple of segments here? Not that they're level segments anyway. If we were to drag this node down, and then this one as well, so they're pretty much all level there, aren't they? And then essentially delete these 2 segments, and then make them longer on either side so they're level with each other. Let's get those tram stops in first, because they're going to dictate where this stops and starts. Probably here then in that case. So let's have that. Then we'll come off of this. We'll move these essentially now just to frame that tram stop. Which again I think would also be really cool if we upgraded the section where the trams are stopping into tram pedestrian road. With tram lines of course, so we'll go for the cobblestone where we're in a university, so it was a little bit fancier, isn't it? Cool. Gonna take a bit of finagling to get right, but it'll get there. Again, I don't want the tram stop to be that big, so let's just shrink the section of it, and then line up those keys to be level with those final pedestrian crossings. Now, because we're going to have people walking around here now, it's going to make it a lot easier to get people on those walkable keys. We'll have them like that. There's a tram going back to its depot for some reason, it should be okay though. Yeah, so now you'll stop, which is absolutely wonderful. We'll grab some regular vanilla pathway, and then just feed that from road to pedestrian pathway. I guess we could do that, so couldn't we? You can do like a disabled ramp here as well, and one with stairs, because we're on that elevation change. Let's try it. So we'll have that one there. Let's wang out IMT, and then we'll fill this with a preset for stairs, and just say yes please. Again, we'll grab the nodes of each staircase and then just bring them down to the pavement, and then likewise bring it right up to that pedestrian road, and then just sink it down a touch so it's all flushing together. And then there they go, they do use it. So we can make a real song and dance out of that tram stop, can't we, as it now comes down this big keyline tram system. Yes please everyone, that is the discovery of the day, isn't it? I absolutely love that. That's so nice. Really. Huge fan of that. That's the best thing this episode, isn't it? Let's all leave a like on the episode for that one. I think I will remove a bit of the surface painter here. Just need to come back in some places, but we'll do that in the design time lapse. And then, yeah, probably just some trees and stuff. I wonder if it's worth doing the... I'm just thinking, do we want to actually have... Can I duplicate this exact segment of pathway here? But I don't want any IMT on one of them, in the hope of creating something of a sort of disabled accessibility ramp for it. Is my thought process with having two next to each other, one stairs and one as a ramp. Something like that. Can we get away with that? Hopefully that's not too steep for a disabled ramp. It does look a little, and does go immediately onto the road, so could be a little dangerous, but hopefully not too bad. People in Thessia do like to take a risk, don't they? Oh, there we go. They're already taking it. It's already getting use. Absolutely wonderful. And then we'll do some cute bush linings or some kind of tree pattern to sit within this general tram stop that runs through the middle of the campus now. Maybe one of these will be welcome. Let's get a few of those in. We'll use move it to place them because they're going to try and upgrade the keys otherwise, and they will end up doing them. And I think we'll mirror these the opposite side as well. It's going to make most sense, isn't it? Yeah, I think it will. Cool, but the general idea is there for the campus, isn't it? For the campus tram stop. That's going to be really fancy when this gets busy as well, when there's more stuff around here. This should turn into a real secret blend of 11 herbs and spices. But, good time for detailing. Finish off the beach, lots of tree detailing around the campus, find a nice happy sitting place for the rest of these cute little assets that are still less to be used, but a lot of detailing, some beach fun as well. What was detail up? The Russell University. And then we'll be right back. Alright guys, have a little detailing review, shall we? So all around the campus now we've got our rocks in like we mentioned against the elevation change in the roundabout. Furthermore, that cypress tree lining has continued around the edge of the campus with more trees outside the front of the School of Medicine, which has now been bobbed alongside a retaining wall key on that bridge back into downtown Eggerlade. Over the trains and the Asari carriageway. We'll come down the tram line here as we arrive at this really cool tram stop that I absolutely love. Like, seriously, one of my favourite areas of the city, this little tram stop right here. Turned out really nicely. We'll definitely have a few of these down the line as we continue this tram down towards Canberra over there. Dropped in some high density as that student accommodation that we mentioned in some more high-rise formats rather than living on campus. In the more prestigious dorms there is a now bit of high density, and this whole campus has really contributed to this kind of gradual skyline that's swooping around this coast now. Really nice to kind of see the first additions into what is essentially Canberra over this side. Around the front and the beach, dropped into some basic parasol detailing, things that we've seen in Thessia before, just so people can enjoy a nice spot out here and watch those cruise liners go past. Enjoy the views over towards the Thessia mountains over there as well, of course. And our key pattern here has just been tree lined, like we've got on the beach over by the hotel over there and all the kind of commercial and residential district that happens over that way. Just expanded out our assets with some simple surface painter and brushes, bringing out those hedge linings too, so the concrete spaces and the parking space and all the doors and stuff make sense on these assets. Likewise again with the cafeteria, more concrete space, bollards against the road where people might want to eat, and then the little pathway that goes through the hedge lining and then into that walkable space that we constructed, which has now been all tidied up with surface painter at the front of the main building here. We did a little bit of IMT surface painter, or IMT decal filler, sorry, is what I meant to say, just around here, so it kind of has a bit of a tiled texture to it, kind of makes the main building look a little bit more important there, doesn't it? Lots of open green space respected, as we talked about in Thessia. Wanted to make sure this was nice and open, and really love this big view we've got to the commencement office with the skyline behind it. It just came together so nicely. A really tasteful but simple campus, but came off just tremendously well. You know, again, people graduating with a really nice view down to that waterfront. Again, always respecting the sightline, right? Really important. We'll hop over to the other side of the campus. We've got some parking here just on site because it kind of lacks parking in and around the campus. Of course, there's beach parking there, but the campus didn't really have any. And then this spills out just a little flower garden. Bobbed some of these other assets because, again, they were all plastered in vanilla trees. We've got our chess club and IT clubs around here as well, an academic statue that all sits nicely together. We then arrive at those dorms that we fused in the episode, and there's a really nice sightline here as well up to the library, and again down to the gymnasium, and just really cute campus. Came together really nice. I love that there, right? That's such a... it's the simple things, you know, for me I think sometimes. Really like it. And then we've also dropped in an Aussie Rules football pitch, which I think we had to include near the campus, didn't we? So a really great place to come play some Aussie Rules football down here as part of our campus sports teams, and then a little bit of node controller to create a crossing here as we continue to allow walkability and cycling down here. And I'm not sure what we're going to do with these spaces here on the coast around Canberra. I imagine we'll probably head to Google Earth for inspiration for those. But definitely a lot more government-themed buildings and administration, taxation, etc. To happen around this part of the city, where everything else so far has been pretty kind of commercially focused with the marinas and the stadiums and transport hubs and whatnot. But campus turned out really nicely, really cute addition into downtown Thessia. It came together tremendously well, and yeah, really like how this one turned out for me. But otherwise, guys, that is going to do it for today. Let's thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, likes, comments and shares below really do help me out. Even much if you haven't enjoyed it, please feel free to leave me a dislike as well. Always love a campus, so I hope this one ranks highly on the list of all the OE campuses we've done over the years on the channel. And probably the last campus, actually. Maybe Thessia might have one more. Orchid Bay, I guess, might have another one as well, now it's entering 81 tiles. But there is a chance that this could be our last ever CS1 campus, but a pretty tasteful one, and really nicely detailed as well. Enjoy putting this together. Please enjoy the cinematics, of course, in the grander downtown setting, but I'll shut up and leave it there. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.